Hello and welcome to another episode of Rico's Drunken Rants. I'm your host, Rico DiGiorgio. Alright, the drink of the night. I was originally making my own concoction of white trash Russians, which was Nesquik, vodka, and milk. I have since switched. I am now drinking vodka and Arizona sweet tea. It's what I got. It's what is available. Just once, I'd like to have a video where I'm not going, ugh. Okay. Ranters, let's get ranted. Today, we're going to talk about a classic. A cult classic. It's a movie that, like, only true fans are a fan of. And that is Pet Sematary, the book written by, and I think screenplay written by the one, the only, the master of horror, Stephen King. So, I remember seeing this movie probably 10 or 11 years old. Just watch it for the first time in probably, I may say 10 years. Fuck, does it still hold up? It's got some issues, but damn, it holds up. So, first off, what I like is, this is more towards the book itself, but the title for Sematary is spelled with an S and not with a C. I like that because it's very much like a kid wrote it, and kids are central and integral to the storyline. Alright, I'll try and give you the rundown pretty quickly. There may be spoilers. I'm too drunk to actually be able to think straight. So, this family, the Creed family, moves to a part of Maine. Lewis Cage, the father and husband, main character. I don't know who the fuck plays him. He's pretty much an unknown, and I haven't seen him in shit since. And that's not to say I recognize him in anything. I just haven't seen him in shit. He is a new doctor to a small town in Maine because, of course, it's Maine because it's Stephen King. He has his wife and his daughter, who's about maybe 4, 5, and his young son, Cage, maybe 2, maybe 1.5. Played by Mika Hughes. And I remember back then, way back then, being a fan of Mika Hughes for this film, for Kindergarten Cop, for Spawn, and for Wes Craven's New Nightmare. He was sort of like that kid that we always were like, oh shit. In other words, he was sort of my generation's Macaulay Culkin. And he sort of disappeared. But I've always liked him. He's been in some of my favorite movies and my favorite horror movies. I'd like to... Miko, come back. We missed you, man. So, they move into this house, which is, their street is a highway. And trucks are fucking constantly going back and forth. Because it's the main road, or in this Massachusetts, Maine, New England jargon, road. They're constantly doing deliveries. So, oh fuck, I'm drunk. Across from them, their across the street neighbor is Judd, and Judd is this old as shit, Maine accented, chain smoking, nice guy, played by the brilliant Fred Gwynne. And I cannot think of anyone else perfect for this role. He got the New England accent down. He is exactly how I imagined when I read the book. Yeah, if you don't know who the fuck Fred Gwynne is, he's the judge in My Cousin Vinny. He is Herman Munster in The Munsters. And I don't know anything else he's been in. He did write a children's book, something about a moose. A chocolate-covered moose. About an actual moose. Like a moose. Anyways. He sort of gets the family used to the town they're living in and reminds them this road is dangerous. And they have a path in their backyard that leads to the town's pet cemetery, where all the kids who lost their pets from the fucking road would bury their dead pets, including Judd's, his dog Spot. So the family goes away, and while they're away, the cat, Church, named after Winston Churchill, which I have to question, why the fuck did a 4-year-old name her cat after Winston Churchill? I'm 25. I don't even know shit about Winston Churchill. And this 4-year-old fucking barely out of her diapers has some fascination, names his cat Church. What the fuck? But you know what? That's me. I named my cat Dino after Dean Martin, so go fucking figure. But I did that at the age of 24, 25, 24. I'm an adult. I take that responsibility. I take that bullshit to heart. Ugh. Oh my god. I should not have mixed alcoholic chocolate milk with alcoholic iced tea. It's a bad idea. Ugh. So the cat gets run over, and Judd takes Lewis past the cemetery to an old Native American burial ground, which works for the story, but at the same time I have to fucking point out, how is it that in every single book, movie, TV show, or whatever, which has a horror theme and has an Indian burial ground or Native American burial ground, how the fuck do these people just keep burying dead shit or building shit over burial grounds? Like, fucking learn, goddammit. See a horror movie. This is why whenever someone tells me they don't watch horror movies, I'm like, you are just missing out on a whole world of information you will never use. But I have to imagine that if the characters in horror movies watch the fucking horror movies, they'd learn shit. Hold that thought. Okay, so they bury the fucking cat on top of this fucking mountain. And the next day, the cat comes back and he's angry as shit. He smells rancid. He's an angry little fuck. And for some reason, he loves to fuck with Lewis. At one point, Lewis is taking a bath, trying to relax. A fucking cat drops a dead rat in the bathtub. And he at him. Little fucking vindictive little shit. So essentially this burial ground brings back the dead, but makes them zombies and angry and vindictive and vengeful or to simply put, the ground at some point went sour. Like, the Native Americans were constantly burying their dead in the grounds, and they would bring back the dead, and they'd be fine. But then over time, the ground went sour, or whatever the fuck. So, later, spoilers, the kid, Cage, dies. Just like the fucking cat. He's playing a kite with his kite. The whole family's with him, including Judd. And when their backs are turned, he starts running and he gets hit by a fucking guy who's listening to the Ramones by a truck. And he's dead. So now, the whole family's torn apart. They're grieving. The mother, played by Denise Crosby, Bing's granddaughter, takes the daughter, goes to her grandparents, goes to her parents, the grandparents, and leaves Lewis by himself. Of course, Lewis takes that opportunity, despite being warned repeatedly to not do what he's going to do by Judd, as well as by a fucking ghost. I'm not going to get into that. To not bury the fucking kid in the burial ground. He does. You think for a fucking doctor he'd have some common fucking sense, but he's overcome with grief and he's kind of been losing his sanity a little bit. Buries his kid. And when you fucking know it, the kid comes back, pissed off, takes his father's scalpel, and kills some people. Okay, I'm not going to ruin the ending. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to tell you who the fuck dies. You ever get drunk from the burp of the drink that you drank? Anyways, yeah, this movie still fucking holds up. Like, it's not scary anymore, but it's still enthralling. And I gotta give it credit to Fred Gwynne. I mean, Fred Gwynne, like I said, he steals the show. He steals the movie. He is fantastic in this. Miko Hughes is... I mean, he's 2 or 3 in this, and he's great. He's a child actor that didn't fuck up. He's still alive. As far as I know, he's not into drugs. That's probably because he gave up his career, wasn't tempted. He just sort of went off and did something else. One little criticism. The girl, or girls, I found out, it's twins, who play the daughter. They can't act. I don't know what the fuck it was. It's not age. Because Cage, or Miko, can fucking act. And he's younger than them. They're just overacting and their crying sounds fake. And, you know, I'm not going to bitch and moan because it's a little kid. You know, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. But that, honestly, that's my only main criticism. That's got to mean something. And the positive is the fact that the only thing I didn't like was the little brat can't act. Everything else I liked. Sure, it's a late 80s, early 90s movie, so the technology's not great. But they rely on actual scares and not jump scares, and they have a little bit of gore, but not too much. It's just perfect. I mean, it's got a low rating on IMDb and whatever the fuck, but it's actually like a cult following for Stephen King fans like myself that look fondly at this. So much so, this movie is in part of my lineage and my family, where my older brothers, they wanted to watch this movie, and my mother told them, no, you guys are going to be fucking terrified, you're going to come into our bed, you're going to be scared. No. And my dad, my dad doesn't give a fuck. My dad said, shut up, Nancy, let them watch this shit. They'll be fine. So they watch it. Sure enough, according to my mother, I have not gotten a confirmation from my brothers, but my mother specifically stated 2 hours later, "Hi, can I sleep with you?" And my brother was like, "Yeah, sure, come on in." He goes in. 20 minutes later, it's my other brother. He's like, "Hi, can I sleep with you too?" And my mom just said, "You know what? Fine, it's fine. I'll go sleep. I'll go read downstairs. I'll go sleep downstairs. It's fine." And I mean, back in whatever the fuck this was, 1988, 1989, my brothers would have been 8 or 9 years old if they saw it when it came out. I mean, let's assume they saw it when it came out on video a little while later. They rented it, so they would have been 9, 10, maybe 11 years old. For an 11-year-old, this would terrify a kid. And it's a good story where it makes them realize death and how sometimes dead is better. One part that stuck with me forever. I gotta get my drink on. Hang on. Bear with me. So gross. Oh shit. One part that stuck with me, and I do not know if this was planned, if this was fake, but the actor who played Lewis had a nightmare, or I mean the character Lewis had a nightmare, and screams waking up, rolls out of bed, and slams his fucking head into the bedside table. It looks real, and it looks painful. Part of me really wishes that it was just an accident and it really happened, but I don't know why, but that's stuck in my head forever. You tell me. If you know the answer, you let me know if that shit's real or fucking planned or faked or whatever. Tell me what you know. I'm dying to know. Alright, my rating. Is it a go out and see it? Rent it? Watch it? Yeah. If you're a Stephen King fan, you read the book, definitely go see it. If you're not a fan of gore and horror, then no, fuck off. Don't see it. So, my official rating, I'd give it a 3. It's not the best Stephen King movie ever. It's not the scariest. I mean, shit. Shawshank Redemption is arguably a better Stephen King movie, but this is also one of the more faithful ones, in part because I'm pretty sure Stephen King wrote the screenplay. And he also has a cameo as a minister. So, 3's my answer. This is my cat. I'm drunk. Love you all.